Philippians chapter 2, verses 3 and 4. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you not only look to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. In these verses, Paul warns us of the effects of thinking too highly of ourselves. This was a problem that plagued the church in Corinth. Paul tells us in 1 Corinthians that the church was divided and there were quarrels because the believers were so focused on themselves. They focused on their individual gifts, each claiming that he had the better gift. Some claimed that their faith was more genuine and their salvation more secure than the other because they were baptized by Paul rather than Apollos or someone else. Others felt that Jesus was theirs alone. Only they belonged to Jesus. In other words, they focused on the I, me, and myself. As a result, the church in Corinth was plagued with division and quarrels. Deep inside the believers in Corinth was the sin of pride and jealousy. It was creeping and was taking control of them. One would ask, how did this happen, that such a church in a prosperous city was on the verge of self-destruction? What happened to the church in Corinth was that they stopped focusing on Jesus. Because when you stop focusing on Jesus, it is human tendency that you look for something or someone else to place your focus on. And for the church in Corinth, the people shifted their focus away from Jesus to the I, me, and myself. This was a problem not only in the church of Corinth, but even today, the I, me, and myself triangle is still very much with us. This can also extend outside church setting. It also affects our relationships with family, friends, and to others. We start thinking that we are better than the other because of our wealth, our education, profession, standing in community, or even because of our faith. The danger with this is that once you start focusing on your status, achievements, you begin to treat yourself as the most important person in your life. You tend to look down on others, and you begin to compete with others, always striving to have more, to be better, but never being satisfied with what you are and what you have. And this leads to disappointment, with envy, jealousy, leads to lack of compassion, bias, and also quarrels. It is not wrong to want things for yourself, to get an education for a bright future, plan for your old age. It is not wrong to love oneself. Jesus said to love others just as to love yourself. But Jesus warns us against going to the extreme, loving yourself too much that you no longer care about others, and worse, you yourself will come in the way of your relationship with Jesus. You live for yourself, seek your own gratification, no longer acknowledging that you live for the glory of God. The I, me, and myself triangle is deceiving because we live in a world that is obsessed with itself, that it seems to be the norm, and how easily it can distract us away from Jesus. But the truth is that our self-centered desires can never take the place of Jesus. You will rob yourself of peace and joy, always going after temporary pleasures that are not important in the eternal. Jesus set the example of humility, loving you and me, dying on the cross for us while we were still sinners. Jesus said that he came to serve and not to be served. Even before you and I were born, he already knew us and had a good plan for us. There's a song that reminds me not to be too focused on myself. It goes, I want to care for others just like Jesus cares for me. Let your rain fall upon me. It also tells us why I can care for others, and it's because Jesus cares for me and loves me. It's all about Jesus. To God be the glory.